Hello team, welcome again to Selenium with C# training. So today we are going to discuss about the data types. So last time we have seen how to write it down the simple program in C#. So now today we are going to discuss about the different data types. Right. So all of you have aware about the C or C++. The same data types are there, and we are going to discuss about the dynamic data type as well. Okay, so let's get started and understand what is a data type is. And what is the syntax of the data type, how to write it down the data type. See, basically if I want to declare some variable, okay, now the variable is nothing but the values which are getting changed, right? So that I have to declare which data type it is, right? Say for example, now I want to store roll number, so, or the mobile number. So the mobile number of data type is integer, or whether it is a string, whatever it is, right? Okay, so this is what it is called as a data type. The data type is nothing but the data which is getting stored and which type of the data it is, whether it is a string type, whether it is an integer type, whether it is the string type, character type, right? Or boolean type. So let's get understand with what are the different data types are available. So let me just declare integer. So int is nothing but integer, right? Integer of I and equal to 4. So what exactly it means is, I declare a variable called as integer of I. It allocates some memory space for the I, and it stores a value that is a 4, and I want to print that value. Okay, so console dot write line of I, so it will print the value of I. So I is nothing but equal to 4, right? So it will print 4, right? So this operator is called as a initialize. So initialization. So the 4 is initialized to I, and we are printing a value of I. Now I can change the value of I at the runtime. Suppose if I give 5 over here, and again I want to print that value, right? So it will print 5. It won't print 4, right? Okay, so we will discuss this, and let me just save this file and then run it again and then see the output. Okay, so it will print 4 and 5, right? So let's discuss with the other data types as well. Now let's start and understand the other data types. So integer of I equals to 5, right? So we initialize 5, so its value is getting changed. Now let's try to understand with the long. Long is another data type. So long of L equal to, and I can give some value over here, right? So basically, what is the difference between this integer? Integer value stores, the 32 bits, right? Its sizes is 32 bits and its long is 64 bits. Okay, so this is the only difference between these two, right? If I want to print a larger value, I can go with long. So let's go and print this console dot write line of L. Okay, so long is one data type. Now, there is something called as a character, right? So if I go with a char of C, right, and I initialize any character, you can initialize I something like that within a single quote, right? And I want to print this character. So this is what the character is all about. Now, if I want to print the Boolean value, okay, I can go with the bool of B equals to true. So the Boolean value holds either true or false, right? And if you have a specific condition, right, if else, if you use, and then you will get the result into the Boolean format. Okay, now there is a one more thing, right? I want to get into the floating value, right? So I can go with the double. Okay, I can go with double. So double of D equal to 3.142, right? 3.142. So let me just make it this 3.142, right? It's a floating value and I want to print this. So console dot write line, and then I have to print the value of D. Correct? So that is a double. Okay. So we have seen integer, data type long, character, boolean, and double, right? So let me just save this and run it again. So if you see that we are getting a values that the I is getting printed, then the value is true and it's floating value. Okay. Now let me just discuss with some other the variable that is the data types. Okay. So what are they? Say it's a dynamic data type. Say if I declare var of age equal to, okay, say suppose if I give age within a double quotes, right? And if you see that I am using a var of age equals to 35 within a double quotes, and I am printing this the age, right? So let me just save this and let me just run quickly and then see that whether it is printing 35. Yes, right. It is printing 35. Okay. Now what I want to do is, suppose if I change the value at a runtime, suppose if I give age equals to say 40, and which is in the numeric value, correct, and I want to print it. Okay, so if I try to print this value, console dot write line and then age, if you see that we are getting an error over here, right? So we cannot implicitly convert this time, even the type, that is integer to string. Correct. So that is what the where is. So where is a keyword, and we declare this. Okay, whatever the value you declare it, right? Whether it is a string, whether it is an integer. Suppose let me just make it this as an integer right now. Okay, let me just remove this double quote and then make this as an integer value. Okay, if it is an integer value, then it will take this value as an integer. Okay, but if I mention this, at the time of declaration itself, it is a string, then you should mention as a string itself. Correct? It won't get changed that age data type, right? Okay, so this is the magic, right? Okay, now the next is, suppose for example, this is a one and the another one which is called as dynamic data type. Yes, there is something called as a dynamic data type. Now, what is dynamic data type, right? So the dynamic data type is nothing but, say, suppose for example, I don't know which type of the data type it is. Might be I want to get into the integer, might be get into the floating, right? Whatever it is, right? So I can go with a variant data type, right? In VB script, you heard about it, variant. Whatever you have initialized it, it will treat that as a data type, right? And this is what it is all about, the dynamic itself. Say it's a dynamic is a keyword, right? And you want to declare a okay, value equal to, okay, so value or say something, give then a number. I want to give the num1. It is a number, right? Num1 equals to, now it will treat as an integer. Okay, it will treat as an integer. Now suppose if I want to give num as a name, say Nilesh, right? Okay, and I want to print that console, okay, dot write line, and I'm printing this the num1. Okay, all of you are getting this point. See, what I'm doing is I initialize it. Okay, it's a dynamic of num1. Its data type is dynamic, and initially I declared this the num1 equals to 23. So it is a numeric, right? And it will print as a number. Okay, but in the next second time I mention here num1 equals to Nilesh. That is in the string now. Correct, but we declare this as a num1 equals to 23. It should be a the numeric, right? But here data type, it's a dynamic. So dynamic, it represents that, or I can say that it is like a variant data type. So whatever the values you assign, okay, it will take this, the as a data type. Okay, whether if you assign true, then it will take as a boolean. So at the runtime, it will take as a boolean. And so this is the magic of the dynamic. Okay, so let me just run and see that whether we are getting the values of, yes, 35, 40, right? It's 23 number, and then again it's malicious tagging. Okay, and this is all about the data types team. Okay, so hope that all of you have enjoyed this the data type, and we are getting into the basic fundamentals of the C sharp, right? So we'll understand the C sharp first, and then we will go ahead with the Selenium WebDriver, how to configure the Selenium WebDriver and all that we will see later on. Okay, so keep learning and happy learning. Thank you so much.